All right, what is going on, everybody? For those of you that just jumped in, just streaming this boy live here, I figured I'd try to, go over some of this stuff here today with you guys. I hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving. Um, yeah, it's gonna be a, you know, half of a day today. Market closes at 1 p.m. Eastern time, so obviously I won't be on here for too long. Um, but just kind of, wanted to check out the market. I'm probably not going to execute any trades here, but I'll try to walk you guys through this stuff here if you haven't noticed it already. Obviously, only the one that's pretty interesting is COSM. So prepare for that. Pre-market was pretty telling that this thing is probably going to run a little bit. So, hopefully you're in that trade, which is why I was on the watch list last night. But yeah, I mean, pretty much from what I'm seeing here, you got some levels of resistance at the, half dollar and the 53 cent mark there. Um, so other than that, I mean, if it breaks those levels of resistance, don't really expect it to run too much, given that it is Friday. But yeah, play accordingly, trade safe, and stay green. As I'm looking at this here, I'll try to walk you guys through some things that I'm seeing. I mean, obviously, if you haven't noticed the big areas of resistance, keep watching level two. Really, COSM, HLBZ, and JCSE were the only ones that are really interesting. And obviously, out of all of them, COSM is the most interesting. Other than that, don't really see nothing worth really looking at until we get another alert. So yeah, keep your eyes on that. Um, that's a nice little dip there. Be cautious on that because it is starting to turn. Um, but yeah, plan accordingly, measure your risk accordingly. Look at this right here. You see it's building up a good level of resistance there at the $50 mark. That was, you know, just not there a second ago. But keep watching as these orders are getting executed. And obviously, I'm not going to walk you guys through measuring your risk. Pretty much this little guidance here is just going to be for you to kind of view the charts and understand that and matching it up with level two and being able to plan your trades because it doesn't make sense for me to go over risk management for a few different reasons. But yeah, let's take a look and see how this plays out for the next 15 minutes. But keep in mind watching these different levels and reaction to the stock for it. But pre-market was pretty telling. How it spiked, pulled back, and it consolidated right here. If you were watching in pre-market, you should have waited for that break of 47 cents, which was right here. And obviously that was a good level of support being held. So that would have been a good entry for you to grab, some profit right here. I don't know how many of you might have seen that, but that was kind of pretty obvious. So hopefully you did get a little bit of a bank on that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm obviously probably not going to trade it just because of the fact that it's a, sub dollar stock, which is out of my trading realm. But for those of you who can, profit off of that, by all means, do so. Really, with where it's at now, wouldn't be interesting until it breaks 50 cents. Because pretty much from here on out, you're going to have plenty of people like trying to cash out off of the, profits right now. So wait for a pullback. Me personally, I mean, a 5% difference really isn't going to be worth it. And it's really too much resistance building up right now. Plus, it's on a downturn. So I would wait for the pullback. Because watch, this drop coming up here. See where it holds this level of support. If it obviously breaks down, you know, past something like the 40 cent mark here, or even 35 cents, probably not worth looking at for the rest of the day. Um, Other than that, keep that in mind. Yeah, it's not gonna be interesting until it possibly breaks that 50 cent level. Okay. EAD EDA is halted, so Let's take a look at that. Hmm, this is interesting. I think I might get in this bad boy. Let's take a look at this. EUDA. All right, so right now it's halted at 429. Looks like buy levels are building up there around the 450, 430, 429 area, which is where we're at now. So look at the volume. Look at where it's at on the isolators. Might try to jump in this bad boy. I would probably want to enter in it before 50, 60 level. Maybe take profits at like 510, like a 50-cent move there. Um, sorry, still early. All right, so this looks like it might be a good 5-minute haul here with EUDA. Trying to see if there's any catalysts coming up for that thing. I don't really see a reason why it's being halted up, aside from the volatility. But yeah, I'm going to try to enter this bad boy here. The problem is the price, I can't enter in at the bid. What I'm going to do is probably set a limit order at the bid. You know what? Actually, I'm just going to wait for it to open up. Dang, PKBL is halted too. Let me take a look at that. Hmm, I don't really like PKBL right now. I mean, wait for some more volume to build up. I'm not sure why it's too halted. It doesn't look too volatile, but could be, quick little circuit breaker halt. Yeah, it is halted due to volatility. Let's go back to EUDA. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into that bad boy. There we go. Let's see if my order can get filled. Hopefully it does. All right, so yeah, so like I said, I wanted to try to enter in at like 460. I'm gonna hold open. I'm hoping some pullback comes, but it looks like it's running away. All right, yeah, you see all that getting filled there from the buy orders. Still relatively strong. Look at how the movement in the stock is happening there. Come on, baby. I need you to fight. I need you to fight. Let's go. Yeah, this thing is kind of holding. So what I'm gonna try to do is try to scale in. Um, Now that the halt's over, I'm just waiting for some little bit of a pullback, but it's having too much strength. So I might just have to scale in and adjust my risk to reward and try to get in at about maybe, I don't know, 480-ish. I'm gonna try to get filled at like the 470s. So I'm gonna try. So obviously, if I'm getting filled in at 470, if you look where pretty much EMA is, exponential moving average, it's sitting right at like the 430s at this point. So that's like a 40-cent difference there. Um, but again, I'm gonna risk enough to where if this thing went to zero, I'd be okay with it. Again, that's just my trade. Again, I'm not gonna talk about risk to reward, but just know that I'm gonna try to enter in at 471. And then I don't know, maybe try to take profits at like 410, I'm sorry, 510, 520 if it can reach there. The problem is we got a little bit of a break. I'm sorry, not a little bit of a break, a little bit of resistance. And you can see it building up right here at the $5 mark. And then of course at 510 or 512. So if we get past 480, we'll be all right. Um, Also, I want to see if that does establish like some type of support level. If it does hold support right here for 480s, let me zoom in a little bit more on this one for you guys. If it does hold support at 480 level, when it pulls back a little bit, that's a good sign. If not, I'll probably just, bail out at that point and just take a little bit of a loss. But we'll see. A dip like that is expected. So that could be a good entry point. You see those orders getting filled. Of course, that's just the gap fill because remember we got halted right here. So that right there is the gap fill that I tell you guys about. Which is why I wanted to wait to try to enter in at like a little bit underneath the fours. I wanted to try to wait for that gap fill to happen right here. And these candles are kind of showing you that that's typically what's taking place. And if you match that up with the way level two looks pretty good. You know, um, so I might go ahead and take my chances and look to enter here, which isn't too bad of an entry, especially if you compare that to you know ability to lose all that. So let me go ahead and place some orders. Try to enter this here. See if my order get filled. All right, so now that the gap is filled, right now I'm down about 4%, which isn't too bad. Again, my percentage risk to reward ratio, I'm willing to take a loss is a little bit more than most because I'm trading within more of a range, but also too I don't have as much as a profit at that point. So you got to keep that in mind, guys, when it comes to your risk to reward ratio. See, back in my novice days, once the halt was done and I seen that first green candle and then that red candle, I probably would have tried to, enter in at that point. And at that point, you're chasing the stock, especially if you're trying to long it. The reason why I waited for the pullback is because one, I mean, a level two was kind of actually showing you that it was building up here if you were paying attention to that. But you know that gap fill is coming, one way or another. Typically, it's going to be on the next go around. So I pretty much wanted to wait for that pullback, and I'm looking to see if some level of support is getting established here. Um, right now, it's looking pretty decent. Right in this range, the 390s. So wouldn't be a bad idea to kind of jump into that. The float is what I look for below 20 million. So stats look good here. I just want a little bit more volume to come in, but obviously the type of market that we're in, especially in this bear market, you can't expect too much when it comes to the volume. But if I get a good entry, that's going to be good enough for me. Um, so that's what I'm hoping for there. But again, I'm still waiting on this volume to build up, and I'm waiting for my isolators to show me a good entry point as well too. Now this is just for me. I mean, if you're a short seller and you wanted to short this thing, that'd have been a great time to short. You could have got yourself a good little, 5 to 10% and been done for the day. Another one that's looking interesting again is HLBZ. Um, that one is starting to come up a little bit. I want to look at it, but I don't want to look at it because I'm still waiting on EUDA to play out and that support to be established. But let's just kind of glance at it a little bit. HLBZ. The only problem for me again, it's a sub-dollar stock. Doesn't really fit my criteria when it's below $1, but you know, to each his own. Again, don't do that just because I'm doing that. There's some of you guys who trade who are really good at trading sub-dollar stocks. I just suck at it, so I don't do it. And of course, it has good volume. The thing with sub-dollar stocks is they're going to look like they have good volume, especially in level two, because of the fact in order to place that type of trade, you got to do a minimum of 100 shares. So it's just going to look pretty level two and, kind of a little bit more easily identifiable. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely doing a good little run here. You guys got alerted on that one a while ago. Yeah, 22 cents. It's at 25 right now. So there it is. It broke another high, broke another high. Look for another low. It's going to come in again. Going back to EUDA. Let's see how that support's looking. All right, it's not looking too bad. Look at those candlesticks. We're kind of indecisive at this level here. It looks like between the $4, $4.20 mark. Um, kind of want to get in, but I'm looking at level two. My areas of resistance is 438, 420, or 472, and right now we're at 421. So slightly, what, 10 cents possible. But look at this red tape. I mean, sell orders are still lining up. Right now, we're in the process, it looks like, of still selling off, that the market makers are executing those orders. So let the sell-offs go ahead and, come through. And then we'll see in the next round when the buyers step in if the buyers are going to, push this thing up. Obviously, if you're going to be entering and you're trying to long, around this range would be the good time where you're going to be wanting to input your orders and let them get executed because now you're in the stage of some pullback. And as a matter of fact, As you can see here in the vortex indicator, starting to pull back up. I may go ahead and enter in right now as well too. Let's see what my order can get executed at. Let's see here. We're at 415-ish range. Let me try to get in at 415. No, let me do 412. Now, when I say cut losses quickly, guys, if this thing continues to, pull back some more, my my pretty much in my head mentally, I'm gonna think like 375 might be where I want to cut it at, because right now, if this thing was gonna run, I'm in an area where, you know, the run should be happening right now. The buyer should be stepping in after this turn of the isolators. If nothing happens here and it keeps the fall continuously, I'm just going to go ahead and cut that loss and look for the next runner. That's above $1, of course. um, and that's pretty much it. All right, see, we got the sell indicator popping up here for the super trend. Sell orders are still coming through. Again, 370 range is pretty much where I want to cut my loss. And that's around, you know, what, 40 cents to the dollar there. And I'm not trying to really catch the bottom too much. I'm just trying to, get it to where the odds are best. Because remember, we have like, this range right here is where we're being indecisive, right? See, it's starting to grind out here. Look at these candles. It's kind of showing you price action of how buyers and sellers are feeling about this. Right now, of course, the market's, mixed. Dow's green, S&P's, red, Nasdaq's red. So the overall market right here, sentiment, of course, compared to the way the stock is not really bullish per se. So obviously, you don't really want to fight the trend. So I'm going to cut my losses, quickly as possible if we hit that 370 range. And I give myself a little bit of a buffer. I'm not setting a hard stop or nothing like that. This is just mental discipline that you need to be able to take a loss and be okay with that. Where we're at now at 390. So I'm in at 500 shares at 412. Right now I'm down 3%. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So let's let the trade play out, see where we're at. In the meantime, HLBZ is still running, so hopefully you guys are, banking on that alert. Pretty easy. Now, I know you might be wondering, why did I choose 370 as a stop there? No particular reason, just fits my risk to reward management and where my, tolerance is going to be. And it looked like we're going to be testing my tolerance fairly soon. Super trend is still there. Pullback is still there. Vortex indicator is kind of showing that it's going to push down some more. Interesting enough, PKBO is still halted. It's a very, very long halt. That's kind of interesting. It's just a volatility halt. I don't really see nothing else worth, trading today, guys. It's kind of a slow day. We're almost 30 minutes into market open. So right now I'm down about 100 bucks, about 4.5%. Again, I entered the trade at 412 with 500 shares. So let's see how this bad boy plays out. What's not a good sign is that it's now trending bearishly. I really might just go ahead and cut these losses. It's trading below the volume weighted average price, which is the yellow line, below the exponential moving average, which is the blue line, and below the simple moving average, which is the red line. So those are all bearish signs. Now I'm in it with a bullish position during a time where it's showing nothing but bearish things. Um, the only problem that I have with this trade is that there is no catalyst. There's just running off of pure momentum. So I don't really have, that there to kind of help out with establishing the support for wanting to let this thing run bullishly. So yeah, that's where we're at. And I mean, it doesn't always have to have a catalyst, but it does help. Now let's see here. Blue line in the vortex indicator starting to come back up. So let's see if this price starts to ramp up there. Now I'm back, still at a 50% loss. I'm sorry, $50 loss, 2% down. Again, I'm in there at 412, 500 shares. And this is why it's important to be able to understand your limits. If you are someone who cannot stomach being down $100 or more, then you, one, shouldn't be trading with that, and two, need to reduce your position size. Again, I'm waiting for my trade to play out. But I gave it enough wiggle room so that if I am wrong, then I'm wrong. And that's okay. That's okay. Can't be right all the time. And of course, I executed the order with my hotkeys. I'm not, you know, trying to click too many things or spend all my time doing that. Um, so that's no problem there. Profit take level, if I'm in it at 412, I probably would want to wait until it crosses the VWAP, but you can see the VWAP is at like 430. So that's like only a 15-cent difference of me, you know, getting any kind of profit. But I'm watching level two to see if it's worth it. If as these buy orders are getting executed, more sell orders are coming in, and I know resistance is going to be, trying to keep the stock down, I might, go ahead and just take whatever I get in the green and call it a day. But if it breaks that VWAP and more buy orders come in, I'm gonna let that winner win. Ideally, I would like to take my profits at like the four, you know, 70, close to $5 mark, if it can get that high. But again, if it doesn't, if it stays at 430, then I'm gonna just go ahead and take it and run. So what I'm going to be looking for on the profit side is the fact that um, you know, enough of the price action happens to be, make it so bullish that it wants to push through this next area of resistance. Of course, $5 is the next area of resistance, um, well, major resistance, until we see if there's any more sell orders coming through. 472 is a little bit of a stretch there, but we'll see how that looks. So this is the fun part about trading, is that way. I mean, unless you're like a scalper and you got the pressure to deal with that type of trading, hey, on to you, power to you. But this is why, you know, you last long in this game is knowing your abilities. All right, we're down back at 390. Man, these bears are in the building today. Black Friday, huh? And believe it or not, EDA is the top gainer of today so far. It's only up 47%. Usually, even when the small caps of the day guys are only up less than 50%, it's not going to be a good day, or not going to be a bullish day, anyways, unless something happens and a single stock runs. Other than that, it's going to be overall market wise not that great. S&P is now positive. Dow's now positive. Nasdaq is still negative. So the market is still mixed. I guess everyone's waiting for their Black Friday results. But yeah, let's see. I'm still full of a turkey personally. All right, so I mean, still down 2.9%, down $60. Nothing really too alarming. Looking at level two, looks like normal stuff. Got a little bit of support there at 350. Um, and some at 385, but 330 is or 430 standing out as a level of resistance right now. Let's see where we're at on the isolators. Yeah, not much traction happening on the Squeeze Pro. Relative strength is pretty low, so it is possible this thing might just flatten out the rest of the day. Um, of course, in that instance, I'm just gonna, close my position. But at the same time, you want to respect your risk to reward and let the trade play out. 370 or, above the 430s is my risk to reward. I'm in at 412. Let's see. Honestly, I don't want to sit around all day because I'm not going to be in front of the market all day on a half day. But if we don't hit it by the closing bell, which again, it being half day, I'm not gonna press for it. Um, you know, let it do its thing. Ah, that's not good. Now the super trend is moved over again, and it looks like it's gonna fall. We're at 390s, down 5%. Now, also too, guys, a lot of times keep in mind, I think for a lot of people, they don't, when they're doing their risk to reward management and trying to set like, their expectations for the stock and everything like that, they don't understand the patterns of how, the stocks trade. So, like I said, if my risk to reward ratio here, if my stop loss is going to be 370, that means depending on the time of where it's at, like I'm not gonna, execute my sell order or close my position right when it hits 370. It can dip a little bit if it's in the point to where the isolator is still having the ability to turn back up. I can wait and close out my position once it hits that 370 because I know that's, kind of where the strength lies. That's a little bit more risky for people who aren't experienced traders, but once you understand how stocks move and how the orders are executed and understand that flow and that rhythm, you'll know that hey, it could go past, below that 350 and then come back up to touch that 370 and you can take your loss there. If you can't handle that much of a dip and looking at your position, then don't do it. But again, this is why I tell you guys to trade with what you're fully able to lose if the stock went to zero versus, you know, doing like 1% or 2% of your total overall account. All right, so yeah, I mean, look, so the thing here is volume is dying down. It's getting light. It's probably going to grind out the rest of the day, but I'm not. What time is it? 7:05. So let's give it to like 7:30. I at least want to give it an hour here. Um, Typically after that hour, not much going on in the market. PKBO is halted again. Interesting. Look at that chart. That is ugly. This is the sign of a dying stock. I'll be honest with you, don't think I'm going to hold it much longer. While we're looking at that, let's take a look at Man U. Like I told you guys before. Man, look at that thing. It said 20, 21, 21, 21. For when I first told you guys to, you know, look into that. Yeah. Alrighty. Let's take a look back at EUDA. It's gonna be a long cup and handle. All right, we're at 2% loss right now. So buyers are kind of stepping in here with the UDA. We'll see how many do. We're beginning to turn up a little bit. Now I'm only down $24. Now I'm down only $15. Down less than 1%. Remember, I'm in at 412. So here's the thing here, right? So we know we had alt right here, then it gapped up, right? Then it pulled back and it washed down and filled up that gap. Now support has been established in this area, right? Thin and out, thin and out, thin and out. Now it has to turn back up. Again, you should know the action of stocks and how they move. This was kind of something simple to anticipate, but again, on your pullback, you got to measure your risk to reward and when you're going to enter at and things like that. Now, again, when we're watching this thing trend up, because now it's time for it to begin to let buy orders get executed. If it's not going as strong as I would hope, I'm going to just take my, profit or limit my loss and call it a day. This is where, if you think about the psychology behind it, people that got in right here probably, was cutting their losses, thinking the stock was going to try. I mean, I've even seen people say that, oh, EUDA is a bust, it's a bust, blah, blah, blah. It's up 50% now. Now I'm positive. We're at 414. I'm only up $10, but hey, let's see how much this strength plays through. Then I'm going to call it a day. Like I said, it might not run as much as I thought it would. Again, think about the market conditions. It's Friday. Now look, see buy orders are getting executed. This is typically when people psychologically start to get a little bit happy who may have gotten in where they gotten in. Now we've gotten a green super trend signal showing up. This is good news. I wanted to see it break that VWAP. If it's not breaking that VWAP, I'm not sticking around. Okay, so now watch, people are coming back into it. Let's see if it does form this cup. It's either gonna form this cup and potentially break out, or it's gonna get to this limit and then pull back down. I'm prepared for either or. Got my finger on the hotkeys, and I'll take my profit if I need to, or cut my loss if I need to. But I'm not sticking around after that because it is a short day. Okay. Um, this area again is where things are grinding out, right? So you're going to see people either selling and slowing it down, or holding and waiting for it to pop because other buyers are going to start to get happy. That's the psychology behind that part. Got to put all this stuff together here, guys. This is how you become successful trading. But also too, you gotta, be around and put in the screen time for this. You know, Unfortunately, that's just how it is. It's not the funnest things to do, but must be done. Because the days when you have your trades playing out are the fun parts. But congrats to all you guys who banked on that Man U trade. I should have got in and just held it, but eh, I can just lead you to the water. I can't make you drink it. I can't even make myself drink it sometimes, but it's there. All right, so let's see here. We're at. You see how slow these orders are getting executed. It's not really a good sign. It's not showing no sign of strength to me. Now, obviously, it could pop up any time because you never know what traders are thinking. You know, it could pop any time, but the fact that it's moving this slow right now, it's not really ideal for me. This is why I don't like trading on Fridays. It's a little tricky because there's no clear direction the market wants to take. Other days it's pretty obvious as if it's bullish or bearish kind of thing. We're at 406. Here's the supposed to be trigger of everything going green right here because look, now we're above the exponential moving average with price wise. We're just not above the VWAP. We're above both the moving averages, the simple and the exponential. We're just still not in bullish territory yet. Hopefully we get there, but we'll see. We'll see. Ideally, I would like to see this squeeze pro indicator start to turn light blue a little bit more, but it doesn't look like it wants to. All right, we're still in this bad boy here at 412, only up 1%. Now, what do we want to see? We want to see this thing break this VWAP. If it doesn't, then I'm out of here. From the looks of it, it ain't trying to. Volume coming in on ENC, ENSC. Yeah, it looks like 450 is going to be a strong resistance. So I'm going to go ahead and take my profits where we're at now. So not worried about all of that. Yeah, well, slow day, but good learning experience. ENSC still on the lookout there. It's about 42% up. So if you guys are able to get into that bad boy, that's great. But if not, yeah, try to stay green. All right, so now that we broke that VWAP and we're still in this position, um, let's see what the profit takes could, be, you know, potentially be. We're not doing too bad. Let's see here. Right now, I mean, we're only up 5%. Still in at 412. We're up 5% so far. So let's just see. I'm not banking on too much strength to happen because again, we got, you know, some resistance there at 455 and then 472. Let's see if this can push through this though. Going to be holding it until then. And then once it starts to give me that indication that downturn is coming, then I'm going to go ahead and, take my profits. But again, right now we're up 590. Now we're up 202, up 10% of the day. So yeah, let's keep this bad boy going. But I just want to kind of walk through that with you guys. Like I said, I mean, we're at the 7:30 time frame. It's been pretty much an hour. So 1 hour, a little over 200 bucks. Not too bad of a day, but I'll go ahead and call it a day. If I, go ahead and take profits, I'll, post what's in there for you, um, in the Facebook group. But yeah, other than that, guys, stay green.